between 4 o'clock, let's go back to this one here. Between 4 o'clock, 4:30 and 8:30 in the morning yesterday was one of the worst days of my whole life. This was so crazy. This little guy starts exploding. This little guy starts exploding at the exact same time. This is on some kind of 20-year time bomb that it was from when the house was built.
Thanks for being here. This is Truth Seekers with your host, Stephen Cambion. Please rate, like and comment on our videos or podcasts. If you are listening to an audio podcast, please rate us 5 stars to help us rise in the search rankings. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to an audio podcast, we love and appreciate you listeners, but you are missing the live tapings. All our shows are recorded live with video feed. We'd love you to come be a part of our live broadcasts and tapings for the podcast. Head on over to YouTube, click the search tool, the little magnifying glass, put Truth Seekers, one word in the search bar, and hit enter. You'll see a strange and mysterious guy with sunglasses. That means you found the channel. Go there, smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to receive up-to-date info on our YouTube channel. We welcome you to be a part of our live taping and our chat room during the live broadcasts. Seek the truth. Speak the truth. This is Truth Seekers. Truth Seekers. Truth Seekers.
All these ancient prophecies telling us that the world will be transformed.
Wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? He makes all this stuff up and claims that it's all true. The aliens want to eat us. Be careful that they don't get you. It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal?
This is where if I have a live audience, I get everybody to hug each other. I say, give your neighbor a handshake or a hug, whatever you feel is appropriate to you. And that way everybody feels the love a little more. I will never believe it, I will never believe it. Okay, that's fine. Maybe you need 25,000 more years, I don't know, buddy. But look, this is really compelling information, and it's going to get a lot more intense. It's coming up in a couple days here on Sunday, so if you haven't already signed up, we have reopened the cart. We still have the payment plan in place. Because I am working on hover car technology right now. I'm not joking. I'm not going to talk about it until we've got something for you, but we're getting pretty close. Once we get to that point, I can talk a lot more, but several of Pete Peterson's former associates I'm working with on this, and it's very, very real. We expect that once we get financed, hopefully, that we'll have an operational working prototype within 1 year, and that we could go into mass production within 4 years, where you will have a hover car in your garage at an affordable price. And, the company that I'm working with is one of about 5 that I've been briefed on that are all working on this, and we're all in kind of like a little race with each other of who's going to do it first. As I've talked about in other videos, I'm not going to run through all of it again. There have been these declassified patents filed by a man apparently named Salvatore Pais, and they are for a device called the Hawk, H-A-U-C, Hybrid Air Underwater Craft. And it's basically a flying black triangle, and the patent describes exactly how to build it and says that it is anti-gravitic. And in the other videos I've done, we have compelling evidence that they've already built these. They know how they work. One of the designs that we have, I have schematics of it. The wings fold up like this so you can get it into the garage, because you do actually need some wings for like these ionic type of propulsion systems. You're shooting an ion cannon out the back. You have the anti-gravity, but you need thrust. So the wings kind of allow you to be what they call a flux liner. You're riding the gravitational flux instead of an airliner that uses air. And because it's hybrid air underwater craft, you can also fly underwater with these at a much, much greater rate of speed than would normally be possible with that kind of a system. So I'm very, very excited about the technology that we're going to have. And again, it's been handed to us. The military has handed it to us. And as I've said before, Salvatore Pais translates as savior of our nation. Salvatore, savior. Pais, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, I'm probably mangling it. Pais means nation or country. So why would the military save our country by releasing these patents? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. We've talked about Space Force. I've done a lot of other videos suggesting that this forbidden technology is going to be part of what we're going to get. You get into the work of Dr. Kenneth Shoulders and his amazing charge cluster technology, which is probably, it's one of the main contenders of what we're going to use to build hover cars, because you can create anti-gravity with these little things. It turns out that if you send electrical current, sorry I'm jumping around a little bit, but hang in with me. If you send electrical current down a needle and it comes off the point of the needle, you get this little ball of energy. And the ball of energy has all these very strange properties that shouldn't happen. It has way more electrostatic charge than it normally would. So it's got much, much greater energy in a much smaller package than it normally would, and it repels gravity. Plus, if you generate these charge clusters and you pass them through radioactive material, you deradiate the material. So when we start using charge cluster technology, we get free energy, because these things, if you generate a whole bunch of them, you get a lot of free energy out of it, more than it seems to take to generate, which is really true. That's just the nature of how charge clusters form. They attract more energy than it takes to make them. And then they emanate that energy. So they generate energy, they generate a gravitational pull that you can either push or pull with it. And they also are, again, deradiating radioactive material when you pass it through the material. So as I've talked about in other videos, I'm not going to run through all of it again. There have been these declassified patents filed by a man apparently named Salvatore Pais. And Salvatore Pais also patented a compact fusion reactor that's all these little needles that whirl around, which is how you make charge clusters, okay? And that is a power system you could drop in the thing. The other thing I talked about before is that the Hawk craft is like a peanut. So there's a nut inside and then a shell on the outside, and that hollow area between the interior hull and the exterior hull, there's all these little needles where they can generate the charge clusters. So you generate them and then you steer them, and by first generating them, you then point them where you want to go, and that's how you get anti-gravity. So because I am working on hover car technology right now, I'm not joking. I'm not going to talk about it until we've got something for you, but we're getting pretty close. Once we get to that point, I can talk a lot more, but several of Pete Peterson's former associates I'm working with on this, and it's very, very real. We expect that once we get financed, hopefully, that we'll have an operational working prototype within 1 year, and that we could go into mass production within 4 years, where you will have a hover car in your garage at an affordable price You think I want to be up here on this fucking camera talking about this shit? I'm sorry. I didn't know it was going to get like this. I didn't know it was going to get this bad. And I'm the positive guy. I mean, I always try to make it positive. But this is just crazy. The quadrigays, yes, yeah. But nothing gay is going to happen. It's only a title. Anyway, wow, I got to stop. You have to use the orgasmic energy, apparently. There's something about the orgasmic energy. You know, rub-a-dub-dub, 4 minutes. I'm not even going to go there, okay? There is a monster under the bed. You can look at it if you want to, but it's really going to gross you out, and you're probably going to want to puke. Honest to God. Thank you for being here. It's been total chaos ever since.
For the masses. Yeah. For the masses. For the masses. The masses. For the masses.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. I have decided that we will do the second part of David Wilcock's latest stream tonight. Yesterday evening, we got through half of it, or about 90 minutes. There is 90 minutes remaining, and it is just a cavalcade of bullshittery, the likes of which I haven't seen since his last cavalcade of bullshittery. I want to take a moment to welcome in the live chat. We've got great attendance already. And just a technical note, I am streaming from my office. Since moving to the alternate streaming location, we have experienced some strange video issues, which is interesting. And I have been trying to troubleshoot it. Most of me believes that the issue is not on my side, but rather with our streaming service provider. And while I appreciate the messages telling me the video looks like a potato, we're doing everything that we can to resolve those issues. Wanted to try just using this location and this bigger, beefier computer, if that means there's not going to be video quality issues. I will move this PC to the alternate streaming location tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have less of those problems. So we'll take a moment to welcome in the live chat, and we will put up our fair use banner. As I have explained several times, David Wilcock is immorally, unethically, and perhaps illegally using what is commonly called a copyright vulture service. So anybody who uses any clips from David Wilcock's live streams gets copyright claims and can therefore not monetize their video. Or even worse, the proceeds from the video and the advertisement on my video will go to David Wilcock. This is not just immoral and unethical. I believe it is illegal, because he is actually claiming clips that are not included in the materials we are sharing, claiming that Corey Good is in those clips, and they're talking about Antarctic, something in Antarctica. Clearly, Corey Good is not in any of these streams that we are sharing. So this is a completely and totally invalid, false copyright claim. The result still remains that we cannot monetize any of these episodes of The Wacky World of Wilcock until the situation is resolved. And for those unaware, if you're missing or you're looking for our videos on Facebook, these false copyright claims result in Facebook just taking the entire video down. I have several appeals filed. Lawyer letters are standing by, and we will aggressively defend our position here. Up to and including, I will be seeking monetary compensation from Mr. Wilcock himself if this situation does not resolve. I will, I don't know, we have to do an audit to see how much ad revenue we've lost due to his immoral, unethical, and possibly illegal false copyright claims against my show and my channel, determine the amount of ad revenue that we have lost, and then I suppose take some legal steps to recover those losses. I will aggressively defend our position here, since what we are doing is fair use. We critique the videos that we are sharing. We are, obviously, this is a transformative work. He has no right to do this to anyone, including me. I have a feeling that this is an attempt to censor critical voices about his various claims that he makes on the internet. But no, David Wilcock, if you're going to make wacky claims on the internet, I'm allowed to talk about them. So it is what it is, friends, but we appreciate those super chats, which can make up for the 30 or whatever dollars we'll lose not being able to monetize the stream. And by the way, this isn't a hard and fast rule. Some of our streams have gotten demonetized and some haven't. I'm not sure how that determination is made. And I've shown on last night's broadcast the false claims that he is making, claiming that Corey Good is in clips that we are sharing when he clearly is not. So I really think that David Wilcock has enough legal problems, and he probably doesn't need more of them. So I would strongly advise him to remove every false copyright claim leveled against myself, my channel, and my show to avoid any new legal problems that he may experience. So we were up to we were up to 90 minutes yesterday before an hour and 25 minutes. We're just shy of it. We're going to begin once again. Yes, Garagi is, well, see, I'm not a lawyer, so I haven't researched this thoroughly, but I believe it's illegal. Garagi says it is illegal to intentionally make false DMCA claim. You can recover damages and attorney's fees. Well, good. That's good news, Garagi. I believe that is correct. And send me any information that you have on that. Genuine Argyle is here and says, I saw some poor bastard claim that David Wilcock is a sweet man who has deceptively manipulated by Corey Good's lies. Who would ever make a comment other than David Wilcock himself? Yeah, it's really, really interesting. Wilcock, you are the bad man, says Soil Alpin 900 AD. Oh, wow, look at that. A kind and generous $100 Australian dollars, I believe. Praise the truth. Screw Wilcock. Well, Lucy Day, thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of our show. That certainly that more than covers the couple of bucks we may lose in advertising revenue. We thank you very much for your kindness, generosity, and support. And of course, Lucy Day, what a kind and generous thing you just did. Thank you so much for helping us to praise the cash, bitches. Take that, David Wilcock, you dumbass.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right. I appreciate that so much. I knew that my kind and generous audience would not allow the unrighteous actions of a new age swindler con artist for decades to stomp on our free speech and to stop us from educating the public about his various wacky claims. We thank you, Lucy Day. Very, very kind of you. Let's get into it, friends. We're starting on a high note here. I appreciate that, Lucy Day. Thank you for being a member and a longtime show supporter. And we appreciate you. Thanks for appreciating us. As we left Wilcock yesterday, he was going to start reading us poems. So I guess let's get.
Huge announcement. It again shows that we're nearing the end of this. When the weather normalizes, that's why California gets a bunch of rain.
I just wanted to say that David Wilcock is claiming that Ascension and the alien event is going to happen by May 25th. 2025. So I'd love to know, what is he going to say when nothing like that happens? No Ascension event. Remember, he's predicted Ascension leading up to the year 2000 before. Nothing happened. Predicted it again leading up to 2012 because of the Mayan prophecies. Nothing happened. Now he's predicting it's going to happen on May 25th, 2025. I'm going to predict a big nothing burger is going to happen on that day.
It snaps back, and so it's very, very positive. Okay.
Yeah, hell
well,
yeah.
We're now at the
Lucy,
1.5
thank
hour
you.
mark, and this is actually a nice midpoint for us, where we're going to go back to the time of when
I just grabbed
the
the random one. I don't really
27
know.
years. And again, if it wasn't so darn good at treating PTSD, I would have stayed off of it forever. But I really do think it was very beneficial to me. That's part of the reason why I have no desire to take my own life. I'm actually very happy.
Wilcock quit weed for like a week, and he made a big deal of being sober for like a whole full-on week. And then he went back to the wacky weed, right? He lasted a whole week without smoking weed, and he wanted credit for that. I'm completely sober. And then the next week he comes back and like, oh, I was so stressed out over all these lawsuits. I had to smoke.
But when I learned about the fact that I might have had a parallel lifetime that involved a lot of trauma, it did remind me of why I had dreams that were very negative and why I had drawings that.
You can email me, Lionel Mandrake. I'd be happy to talk to you about that.
These are thoughts they try to get you to have. If you start remembering anything, they want you to have those kind of thoughts. Well, I don't. I'm very happy, and I don't think anything's going to happen to me. I don't think it's authorized. Archangel Michael apparently wants me to be here on Earth, but believe me, I go through my own fear. Part of the meltdown I had this past week in the midst of everything going on, and this deal going south and all these other bad things happening, and then I didn't know if my refrigerator was going to be any better until I really got in there. And the whole day, all day Friday was crazy.
You know, this is just so funny. For those unaware, David Wilcock was crying and complaining that his refrigerator is so noisy that it's driving him insane in his house. And for those unaware, he had a $15,000 refrigerator, top of the line, right? But somebody gave him $4,000, and he was able to buy a new refrigerator. Come on, man. Talk about first world problem. There's people starving all over the world. There's people dying in wars, and he's crying about a noisy refrigerator in his $2 million mansion.
Yes, had enough use of medication, although until then I'd been very good. I'd been off of it for over a week. So it was not a big deal. It really did help me quite a bit. It took away the anxiety. And so, you know, if there ever is an emergency, I reserve the right to use it. If you hate me, that's okay.
Yeah, there's no shortage of grifters, Greg O'Brien. I'd have plenty to talk about.
Because I don't like a lot of the things that it does, and I certainly don't like any type of dependency. That's the main issue. I don't want to be dependent on anything. So once in a while, it can create a very powerful shamanic experience.
I agree.
Writing the Michael prophecies.
The FAA will never allow flying
very,
cars.
very clear
Exactly.
When I'm on it, Michael talks very easily. It's very easy to hear the voice, and the voice is static. So anyway,
did he just say what I think he said?
September 21st, that was
he just said it's a lot easier to hear Archangel Michael's voice when I'm high. Oh, when I'm high, I can hear that angel much easier. Great.
Original sobriety anniversary, 1992. I had a spiritual awakening, and I started to go to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. I never had any problem with alcohol. I only drank alcohol a few times because if I drank too much, I'd start throwing up. I had very bad experiences where my suite mates were laughing at me and abusing me while I'm throwing up in front of the toilet.
That sounds
That was
plausible.
one of the most humiliating, degrading events in my
ooze.
entire life. My freshman year, all my suite mates, I had 4 suites in a common area, and they're all standing around
I
laughing
agree,
at me
genuine
while I'm
argon.
vomiting into the toilet.
Yeah.
And I would actually go around and help women who were throwing up from drinking too much alcohol. And I hold their head while they're throwing up. And I did not try to do anything creepy at all.
I agree.
Was very loving.
Jorge
and supportive. I'd
Rodriguez.
hold their hair back out of the toilet bowl. I'd wipe the sweat off of their brow, and I'd get them a glass of water so they could rinse the bile out of their mouth once they were done. I did this multiple times. I was the nurse for people throwing up. And
Yeah,
then
what a
it happens to me, what
coincidence.
does everybody do?
Anjali sees
They're laughing at
she's
me
high
and they're
too.
making fun
A
of
lot
me.
of people see
It was one of the most
aliens or
horrible
angels
events
when they're
in my life.
high.
So that happened shortly before I got
Must be
clean,
some
and then I
good
go into the
weed.
AA meetings, and I start hearing stories that are just so
Yes,
incredibly
voices
terrifying.
in his head that get louder when he
There
gets
was
high.
one guy right off the rip who he would leave his family for multiple days at a time, and not come back to them because of the alcohol. There was another guy who had a blackout, and he ended up on the side of the road, and he had pissed himself and he puked on his clothes.
Oh, that
He
sounds
didn't even
awful.
remember how he got there. And he also had an event where he walked into somebody's house, and it was the wrong house. So I didn't really get how bad alcohol was until I went to AA. Again, I wasn't an alcoholic. I hated it, and it made me sick. This was the closest I could get to some type of rehab, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, who goes
So
to
I
AA?
became aware, like, wow, alcohol is
tendency.
really,
Go to
really
NA,
dangerous.
right?
And that
I would
affected
think.
me. And I ended up writing an essay about how dangerous alcohol is and why you shouldn't use it. That's all I thought I was doing. And I wrote this article or this essay 10 days after I got sober. But then in the process of writing it, apparently my subconscious was remembering what I had heard in my parallel life. So we talked last week about
again
my
with the
parallel life. I
parallel
showed
lives.
you a lot of very compelling evidence.
He showed us
including,
no
you know, the
evidence.
the
There's no
paintings
evidence
that I
of
drew,
his.
the
There's no
puzzle
evidence.
that I got that was based on a painting from Walt Disney World. Epcot had a GE Horizons event. And so GE was
Yes,
responsible
he is
for that.
dependent
That
on
was what my
attention
father
and
was working
taking money
for,
from
and
the
my
golf
grandfather.
garage. I agree 100%.
They tried to give me this puzzle. I was sassy. I gave it back. The puzzle maybe had something to do with what I was doing with them. That if
He's
we
a
could dream it,
digital
we could do
version
it.
of
Much like
Highway
spaceships,
Intersection
building an
Beggars,
alternative
says Legal Eagle. Thanks for being a
Jetsons type of
member.
reality.
Yeah, Wilcock is
So,
the only guy who can
Anyway,
talk
I
about
got
himself
sober
all
and I started
day
to go
and
to
night.
AA
I know.
meetings, and they told you have to do a 90 and 90, meaning you do 90 meetings in 90 days, and I did that. So now I'm going to AA every day. And every single time I go to AA, I hear some new story about an absolutely terrifying problem caused by somebody drinking too much alcohol. So one level of this essay that I just wrote,
Pegged by
here's
a broom handle
I'll
in a
show you the
past
cover of it
life.
now.
Yes, absolutely.
This is the main thing. It's still, I still have
saves
it.
all this shit
Earth,
they
the
wrote in high
Laboratory for
school?
Spiritual Growth.
He
And then
did.
I'm going to zoom in on what it says so you can read it more closely. It says, David Wilcock, The Journey of Life. That was like my class. I was being funny. A rat with knowledge. It shows you how low my self-esteem was after I just gotten sober. I'm calling myself a rat. Well, the whole point was I make this analogy in the essay about rats being poisoned. And so
Jesus Christ,
this is starting to look pretty familiar
now.
now.
His
as
high
if
school
this is the
essays
mentality that
have
certain
some
elites
deep,
have had.
this
And
is
what if
this
they
is
had
what's so
told me-
funny about this guy. Does anybody in the live chat think that anything they wrote in high school has some deep cosmic significance and should be shared with the world? Because this clown thinks that things he wrote in high school have deep cosmic significance and he's going to share it with the world. It is so childish and egocentric, this guy. What? Okay.
What they were going to do. And what if, as I wrote this essay, I started to have memories?
Yeah,
what they
I
were gonna
agree,
do.
Talma. Me
And
too.
those memories started to come out. I think I'm
Well, I
talking
did write
about
some song lyrics
alcoholism
that weren't too bad.
and drugs, and
otherwise-
saying I call it a false food pellet for rats. I said, what if we're all like rats in a maze? Again, Earth is a
He
laboratory.
saved all
for
his
spiritual
special
growth.
ed stuff.
David Wilcock, a rat with knowledge.
Yes.
September 31st, 1992, 7 years and 2 months to the millennium. Egad. I didn't even spell millennium right. There needs to be another N in there. Anyway, so I'm saying I'm a rat too. I'm just making an
Yeah,
analogy. It
he's
doesn't
got
mean I
7
think people
cameras,
this way, but
Rotary,
maybe
because he's so important. He
this
needs
parallel
7
life stuff is
cameras
real.
to
Maybe
do
they
fucking
told me they
live
were gonna
stream.
do this. Maybe they told me they were going to do this, and that's
Which
why I drew
archangel
Raging
is
with the
David
Needle in his
Wilcock's
hand,
AA
the Needle
sponsor?
Apocalypse. And maybe that's why I wrote this weird essay, because this is very interesting spiritually advanced
bet he
stuff
spent
that
years
all of a
in
sudden
his
starts
high
to
school
sound
years
a hell of a
crying in
lot
the
like
mirror.
what we're dealing with now.
It
And that's
sounds
probably because
likely.
they told me what they were going to do. I remembered it on some level, and my subconscious is burning to get this information down on paper so that later on we can talk about it, and you'll see that it's a prophecy. Now, in my story, apparently I was parroting their goal, which was 2/3 of the population gone by doing this. That's probably what they told me. Because remember, they did the Georgia
despite all the
Guidestones back in
grays, we're all just
1980.
rats in a cage.
And so by the time I was involved, they
Oh,
had
that's
this
so
thing well underway.
stupid.
They already started doing it. putting toxins in all different sorts of things that are everyday things that we have to deal with, like food. So I decided this. It's a long time formatting this. I'm literally going to read you the whole thing. So it's not going to be very visually
Wilcock
exciting.
most likely
the
to
best
con
way
people.
for me to do this is just to keep the text on the screen. I'm going to pop in and out. And what's going to happen is that it's not only that it was parallel life memories of what these people were going to try to do to us, which thankfully has failed for the most part. But then there's also an Archangel Michael level that comes in. I had a profound spiritual feeling of resonance as I was writing this, and it really kept me feeling very spiritually high and enlightened as I was doing it.
Can you show me on this doll where you were
my angel thinking of us this way, like they're rats, and that they want to
also the doll, Wilcock. Where did the angels touch you in your special place?
Level of this, which is about the higher perspective, and that this is all part of a non-catastrophic ascension process, which is Michael's main message.
Oh, it's non-catastrophic.
But again, here it is, 1992.
Disclosure.
I have the original. We can forensically date it. I would not be able to have the time or the desire to go try to find old computers and print this on a dot matrix printer. You can see how crappy it is. The 16 pin or whatever it is, 16 pin printer. I don't know how many pins it is, but not very many. But anyway, dot matrix. It had the tractor paper on the sides. There's these extra paper on the sides that you have to peel off, and it's got holes in it so that it can run through the printer. It wasn't like a sheet feed situation. So I'm going to read this to you because, again, the context is I just got sober, and then all this weird COVID stuff comes in. But it also is got a lot of Michael stuff in it as well. And again, I compare the Earth to a laboratory, and I compare humans to rats. It was just a philosophical exercise. It doesn't mean at all that I think of people that way. Exactly the opposite. But it may have been a memory of other people talking to me about humans this way.
Oh, Jesus!
This may have been a memory that they saw it as an infestation, they saw it as a plague, and they saw it as something they needed to do something about. All right. So this is very, very compelling evidence as far as I'm concerned. So let's dig into it. Are you ready? Here we go.
Yeah, I think you're right, Christian.
Here's the first page, and I'm just going to go in paragraph by paragraph now. Life. What the hell is it? Is that too much to ask? Why are we here? Is there some form of divine purpose behind our existence? Or are we just here to work our 9-to-5 job, make technology, and destroy
David Wilcock is so desperate for material, he's reading his high school essays.
The Earth? It cannot be
Jesus
that simple.
Christ, I got to dig out my high school shit.
To our existence.
Yeah, maybe I can make some content.
I mean, think about it. It has been mathematically proven.
But I'm not a false prophet.
In a book entitled "Was Darwin Wrong?" that it is absolutely impossible the complexity of a DNA molecule could have evolved from a few trace elements of nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. Now, what's interesting about this is that, I had read this book in 6th grade, and then now it's a big part of my thing. That
now
DNA
he was drunk on ancient aliens, yeah.
Not just randomly evolved, but it's actually a comprehensive, energetic manifestation that comes out of quantum mechanics itself. The book had a convincing argument that basically proved there has to be some form of higher intelligence that interceded on our development. Every DNA molecule has all the information encoded to produce a human being, right down to the dynamics of their brain circuitry. Nothing this complex could have simply evolved from single-celled organisms and had equations to prove it.
I wouldn't put it past him
sensationalized
faking
too
stuff.
Much. This is basically the first mathematical and scientific proof that God, or perhaps an entire society of gods, exists. It is entirely possible that they could plant the seed of genetic growth on a suitable planet.
He wrote this in 5th grade.
Evolution could take place as that seed grows. But just as in the case of a tree, every seed has to have a creator. It is foolish for us to be so blind as to assume that we were created in the form
he has
of our
always
creator.
thought a little wacky.
I mean, there would have been life forms on the Earth for eons upon
Infamous
eons.
14206.
Why
Thanks
would
for being
an
a
advanced
member.
progenitorial race wait so long to introduce members that resemble its own kind? This all sounds very much like the stuff that I'm talking about now. It's really incredible just how accurate this is to what my work ended up talking about later on, and I don't think that's an accident.
It's an accident, yeah.
Here's an interesting thought. There's a puzzling mystery in the science.
Yeah, I'm going to go live with my 9th grade English paper and watch the super chats roll in.
Period of a little more than 100,000 years, a millisecond.
Good idea, Operation Shutdown.
Mankind went from being like primitive apes to developing society, tool making, and heightened intelligence, i.e., ascension. Anthropology also points out that the human brain has a more advanced cerebrum structure than any other animal, which in a short amount of time paved the way for us to think highly advanced thoughts and develop speech and languages far more advanced than the clicks and grunts of our predecessors. This means that in heartbeat relative to the age of
Probably
the Earth
archaic.
and of humankind
Yeah.
itself, our brains underwent a stupendous, unexplainable degree of growth. Instead of trying to explain
Yeah, I
this
wonder who he
fascinating bit of
copied this
information,
paper from.
scientists just tuck it into the
Because his
pantry
books are 50 to
as another
60%
mystery yet to
copy
be
and paste
explained.
jobs.
But if you think about it, this is even more proof that there is an
He
outside force that
plagiarized the
created
TV
us,
guide.
that is possibly monitoring us, and takes certain steps in allowing us to develop by interfering with our natural circumstances.
Symptom of mental illness.
So there you go. This is, again, it's Ascension 101, the basic idea, higher intelligence, that the Earth is managed, that it's a laboratory for
He's
spiritual
been talking about
growth,
ascension since
we're all
high
here to learn
school,
something.
and it never happened.
That is the only
never will.
logical explanation for the
He's always
mystery
been a
of
goofball.
DNA's
Yeah,
evolution,
since high
and
school,
the
apparently.
unbelievably rapid evolution of our own minds.
Fascinating
In many
story
ways,
of
our
water and
technology and love
bedwetting.
of earthly knowledge has made us more primitive than we had been at one point. We rely so much on logic, information, and the tangible.
He
things we can
probably did
touch,
get
see, and
fired.
smell.
Yeah, he
But in
probably
older
did.
times, being animals in the wild like everything else on Earth, we were forced to rely more on our intuition,
Oh,
hunches, messages from our spirit. In a way, this is far superior to living than what most people are doing now.
it's interesting to see that even his high school thoughts were the ramblings of like a mentally ill lunatic, right? It's just like a mental patient rambling incoherently, just about.
Our spirit has become buried under the information age, which is as new to us as to be a millisecond in the age of Earth. How does 300 years stack up against billions of years our planet has been here? We think logic is the answer to everything, the ultimate truth. But when it comes to the genetic evolution of DNA, with a sudden unexplained spurt in our brain growth, logic is simply
This guy
put on the
definitely
back
thinks
burner.
he's some kind of fucking
The problem is
genius.
dismissed as a mystery.
Look, my high
It's an
school
important
paper is
concept
so
because it shows us how
insightful. No, it's
inadequate
not.
logic
It's
really is.
it's
There are so
ramblings
many
of a
unexplained
lunatic.
things on our own world and in the rest of the universe that it is preposterous for us to think that we know, or perhaps ever even could know, everything that is going on. Likewise,
Oh my
it is
God, how
preposterous
long
for
is
us
he
to
gonna be
pass
reading this
judgment on
paper?
any concept concerning the spirit world.
Oh my God.
We simply do not know enough to be able to emphatically
I'm going to
deny the
make a judgment
possibility
call.
that we were created by a superior
We're going to
race.
skip
To do so
till he's
would be
done
simply
reading his high
restate
school
how naive and
papers,
primitive
because
we
this
really
is
are.
boring as shit.
Since we cannot assume
I don't
we are
want
the
to
only
sit here
planet
for
that ever had
another.
life exists on
I don't want
Earth.
to sit here for another 15 minutes while he reads high school ramblings of a lunatic. But it is interesting to see. He thinks he's so important, and we're going to skip ahead to 1 hour 52 minutes in. I'm not going to sit and listen to 15 minutes of him reading high school papers like a lunatic. Like, look how smart I was in high school, and this all lines up with what I'm talking about now. Apparently, you've been talking a lot of nonsense your whole life then, David Wilcock. Legal Eagle with a kind and generous $10 super chat. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. We are well past recovering any lost ad revenue due to these false copyright claims. Thank you, Legal Eagle, for two things: being a member and your kind and generous $10 of support. Thanks for helping us to praise the cat.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And if anybody really does want to listen to 20 more minutes of David Wilcock reading papers he wrote in high school, just go to his channel, just search David Wilcock on YouTube and go to his latest video. And you too can be bored to death for 20 minutes of him thinking he was super smart genius in high school.
It's not really medicine, and it wasn't safe, but it definitely was effective.
Oh, I thought we were
You
done.
design the false pellets in such a way that inside the rat would know is not the right
Oh
way
my
to go.
God.
Some rats would settle for
Oh my God. The whole rest of this is this
It
shit.
would be much easier to find than the true deal at the end.
Oh no.
They might not even know. it was
Oh, well,
not
we're gonna have an easy
They
night
don't
then.
have the
If we
gumption
skip all this
response, they
shit,
might decide just to stick with
we'll
what
be
they
up
know they can
to
easily have. I mean, wow,
45 minutes
I
left.
thought I was talking about alcohol. As I'm writing this, my conscious mind is thinking, oh, the false food pellet is alcohol. And if you become an alcoholic, I had 10 days in a row of these meetings. Everybody's telling me how they're killing themselves. I'm like, holy crap, I had no idea alcohol was so horrible and so dangerous.
how do you have a degree in psychology and not know anything about alcoholism? But interestingly, he reads these high school papers of his for a full-on, it looks like almost an hour, 45 or 50 minutes of him reading papers from high school. Like, this is the genius level of his content. He's reading high school shit that he wrote in high school. I don't know. We're gonna skip ahead. We're gonna be able to finish this one off pretty quick. I'm sorry, but I'm not listening to 45 minutes of him reading high school papers because there's no significance to anything he's talking about now. He's just connecting dots that don't exist as usual. It's kind of ridiculous. Yes, Operation Shutdown says that was a wise executive decision, Stephen. Look, I will sit through 3 hours of Wilcock, but I'm not sitting through 45 minutes of him reading shit that he wrote in high school because he wasn't any smarter when he was back in high school than he is now. This guy's dumb as rocks, connecting all kinds of dots that don't exist. We're going to go from the 2 hour, 13-minute mark. We could skip all of this. Yeah, it's 45 minutes of him reading high school papers. And he talks about what an artist he is. What kind of artist says, I'm going to do a live stream where I'm going to read a paper I wrote in high school for 45 minutes straight? Like, how egocentric. And we talked about this before. David Wilcock has an incredibly bloated sense of self-importance, as if thousands of people need to hear a paper that he wrote in high school because it was just so important, right? No, it's not. It sounds like the ramblings of a lunatic, just like he does now. But we've skipped ahead. We've done the time warp. So, boy, I'll get out of here early tonight for once.
Heart attack hurt like living hell. I'm not even kidding. It hurt so bad I couldn't even cry. Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh, he's talking to his live chat
Bagpipes and whiskey. What comes first? I don't know. Just ask Frank Zappa. Catherine, what is the blemish? What is the left eye?
It's not that bad unless you're full on.
Yes, I have a zit on my eye. Get over it. Have you seen the Shadow of Ezra post saying the relationship
is embarrassing.
Of the Solar Storm? Yes, we did.
Even for Wilcock.
Love seeing a dot matrix font. Very nostalgic. Thank you, David. The constant ads are very annoying. Please turn them off. If we don't have ads,
or 53,
we can't run the show. I don't have any protection. I wouldn't even be able to do it. So we have to do that. Sorry. Good going, David. I'm glad you were able to read it now. I need to find notes to myself during that time in the 1990s. Something has happened.
Next week, he's going to share his finger paintings from elementary school.
Have you seen the movie Knowing about the solar flash? There's another example. Very true.
Yes.
Prince sang about this in his song 2020. Those are the vibes you described, too, in that song.
He already showed the PJs he's had at the
I wish I'd never looked. I can't even check it all here. David, I sent you an email about a humanitarian project.
Psychological stressor.
YouTube Premium, Goddess Guru Melina says, then there are no ads. That's good to know. This is absolutely on point. It's undeniable. Thank you, brother. Says
Your paper about how his principles
says, what comes down must come up. Newton and Alan Parsons project. I'm driving. I can't read. Friends. HWO Liberty, wherever we are, doll.
I agree, Amy Collins.
My mind.
Yes, he made friends by pretending he had laser pistols.
Health equals scarcity and energy, not personal drug use. Nikola Tesla lives. So I guess
probably
we can interpret
would,
it
or
how
maybe
we
he'd
want.
sell it.
Meant for you. What are you going to see?
He's desperate for money
so
right
anyway,
now.
Thank you guys
Mandrake.
for still being engaged. We still have 4,386 people here. I know after 2 hours, some of you are going to come back later, but thank you all for hanging in there with me.
Illuminati
and
the cafeteria food connection.
IQ.
Yes,
that's probably true. It might even be higher than that. It might be 200. I don't know. I mean, I think I've gotten a lot smarter than when I tested at 180. So there you go.
He thinks that he has 200 IQ. That would make him smarter than Neil deGrasse Tyson, smarter than Einstein. He thinks he has a 200 IQ. Look that up. People that have a 200 IQ and how rare that is.
David, put castor oil on your eye thingy. I have done it with vitamin E, and it is working. It has gone down a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But I think this was reminding me that I have to get out there on camera. I mean, it's so ironic that this would happen to me during this time, but it just is telling me, get out there and do your job. That's how I read it. So anyway.
He got herpes, and the herpes are telling him to go do your job?
Thank you guys for writing such.
Oh my God, he's still
they're still coming in by the bucket loads here, as you can see here.
He's still reading a high school paper. This asshole.
Pilgrim gave me $200. Wow! Thank you for everything that you do.
Somebody gave him $200. Really That's awesome.
So yeah, this was pretty stunning. This why
it could be
shirt today. I just touched my microphone. Sorry about that.
Vitamin E.
So now
for
I want to get
herpes.
to, as I said last
I don't
week,
think that helps.
after I wrote this
He
essay
needs a
on September
doctor
31st,
to deal with the herpes.
1992,
If he indeed has
shortly
herpes, and I don't
thereafter,
know that he
went home
does.
from college, and I told my friends I was having the spiritual awakening, which
Yes,
really
he
was
has a 200
encapsulated
IQ.
in this very interesting essay that I wrote, which has so much prophecy in it. It's like, oh my God, wow! And he's wearing
He got new
he's wearing
lights from
Trump
Wish.
zippers now. I mean,
Yes.
come on, man, something's going on here. This is
He
amazing.
used to shower with Joe Biden. Oh,
I'm gonna keep milking the slippers. I got to use props. For
it was
content,
fitting
so,
and shit.
anyway, I go back to
David
my buddy's
Wilcock.
house, and then there's this streak of light. Whoops, there's a streak of light that happens.
Oh, look at the
December
back of my head.
1992,
I got too many camera angles.
where
So
they're telling me,
here's a
"Won't
camera
believe
angle of
you,
the
blah,
back
blah,
of
blah."
my
I said
head.
about this last week, and I got very upset. I was sad. I went outside, and I
don't
got
know
to the
about
crossroads between their street and mine. I put my arms out like this into the sky. I said, "God, I know that you exist. I know this is true. I know there is an experimenter, and I know that we're in a big."
Well, that's
maze,
what
and I
people
know
are
that
saying.
there's
I don't know
real
if it's
food
true,
power
but
at
he's
the
got
end,
some kind of
and it's
herpes
not drugs
sores
and
around his
alcohol.
eye and his mouth.
And it's not even conventional energy. We're going to get free energy. So as I'm having this thought, the streak of light goes right through the sky. And it was so amazing. And that was the first thing that I got that really was like a response from the universe telling me, you're on the right track. You need to get sober.
Okay, I'll
Then
stop.
I had to wait.
Yes.
What is it?
Yes, he's wearing his woman
3
Trump
more
slippers.
years. Yeah,
Yes.
from 92 to 95. It's 3 more years before I got the next big thing that really happened. As I said last week, I showed you my ox. I did automatic writing, and I got EC 4057 and oxen. This was with my friend Jude, and we did this at the house of his girlfriend.
Yeah, he's got a
which was in
200 IQ, but he
near
can't
Saratoga,
figure
New
out how to
York.
pay his
We
taxes.
taped
Good
a piece
point,
of paper on the
Alvarez.
ground. I blanked out my mind, and all of a sudden, something grabbed my hand and starts writing. Normally, you're
I
not
think
supposed
they
to do
come and
automatic
go,
writing. You're supposed
Lionel,
to
but
get
I don't know. I never had
voice
herpes. so
telepathy in
thank
your
God.
mind. Automatic writing is much more fallible and much
I never
harder.
had any STD.
This time it actually
So-
worked.
and
Something
that's
took
a
over
miracle.
my hand and it wrote this stuff out.
I was in the music business.
And then I realized, well, wait a minute. 40 verses after the beginning of EC Ecclesiastes is actually 222, and I'm always tracking these synchronicities.
Oh, here we go. Connect the
So
dots.
as I told you last
he wrote
time, I
EC
got
and a
fired from a
number.
job at the mental hospital. The best thing about the job was this family of turkeys outside that I got to see every day when I came in, when I left. They were always out there. Now I have
The
turkeys all the
Draco
time.
came
so
and gave
the
Wilcock
thing that made me
space
the most
herpes.
sad about losing
Yeah.
the job was not getting to see the turkeys anymore. I didn't really like the job. It was very stressful. I was trying to get internship credit for a graduate degree in psychology. That was my ultimate goal.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. He got fired from a minimum wage job in a mental hospital.
So no sooner did I get fired, but once again, this was the biggest thing. It comes in, this voice comes in with automatic writing, quotes from the Bible, which I'd never read in this lifetime at least, and it says, "What do people get for all their toil and anxious striving with which they labor under the sun?
Wow, that's
All their
interesting.
days, their work is grief and pain. Even at night, their minds do not rest, but this too is meaningless. A person can do nothing better
Yeah,
than
he's
eat and
rambling
drink
about cows,
and
and he
find
connected it to
satisfaction
the
in their
Bible
own work.
somehow, Admiral Rascals.
This too, I
Pay
see, is from
attention.
the hand of God. For
He's
without
a
him,
genius with a
who can
200
eat or find
IQ. You should
enjoyment?"
pay attention,
Now you're
Admiral
going to understand the
Rascals.
context I didn't share with you last time, which is that they knew, whoever wrote the Bible quote for me with my left hand, they knew that I had already written this essay, and they knew that I had written that the goal was to eat the real food pellet at the end of the maze.
Oh my God, this guy is
And so
insane.
eating the food pellet, eating good food, was a symbol of ascension. And look at what it
He
says.
probably caught all kinds
Person
of
can do
alien
nothing better
STDs
than
from
to
those
eat and drink and find
reptilians. Well, they were
satisfaction.
butt
This is
banging
from
him,
the hand of
Talmud.
God.
He said they butt
So they were
banged him.
directly referencing my Earth as an experiment.
Banana
essay, which
sandwich?
I found astonishing.
Yeah.
It blew me away. I knew what was going on. To the person who pleases him, God gives wisdom, knowledge, and happiness. But to the sinner, he gives the task of gathering and storing up wealth, hand it over to the one who pleases God. This too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. And that is exactly
I don't
what we
think
think
so.
is going to be
But
happening.
I don't know.
That there's actually
I had a
going to
family
be this
member
type
in a
of
mental
wealth redistribution.
institution.
You're not going to be so broke anymore. I'm not
It
going
was
to be
a
so
weird
broke.
place.
I mean, I hope we get a deal really soon so we can get on with making free energy and anti-gravity. That would be really nice. There is a time for
200
everything,
IQ. He
a
had, that
season
was an
for every
extra
activity
zero.
under the heavens,
Yeah.
a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to
Yes,
uproot,
part 2 on the
a time
nut
to kill
job.
and a time to
Yes.
heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh,
Yeah.
a time to mourn and a time to dance,
It's
a time
this
to
is
scatter
the
stones
this is the
and a
Bible
time
verse
to gather
that's
them
used
together,
in Footloose,
a
the
time to
movie.
embrace and a time to refrain from
Time to
embracing,
dance.
a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak,
Yeah, I doubt it. You'd
a
have to
time to
prove
love
it.
and a
It's
time to
easy to
hate,
say you have a
a
200
time for
IQ.
war and a
Hard to
time for
prove it.
peace. So again, it's very, very interesting because this, as I said last time, was Turn, 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 a song by the famous 60s band, The Byrds. To everything, turn, 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 right?
Terrible
Amazing.
singing voice on top of everything
And
else.
so like the only rock song that was written from Bible lyrics, and that's the one I get.
He
And
wouldn't,
I'm a big
he
fan
wouldn't
of rock
shut up.
music.
He got fired
That
from the
was
mental
another like
institution
big nod
cafeteria.
from Archangel Michael.
Yeah.
Then he goes back to this whole idea of how I just got fired, literally like a couple days before this channeled in. What do workers gain from their toil? I have seen the burden God has laid on the human race. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. I know that there is
that was
nothing
using the
better than
Bible
for
to
people to be
grift,
happy. That's
right?
the food pellet at the end of the
That's
day,
something
folks.
else. When you start using
And
Bible
do good while they
verses
live,
to
that
grift,
each of them may eat and drink and find satisfaction in
Karma.
all of their work. This is the gift of God. So once again, it ended with the same exact point that I had already made about the food pellet, that each of them may eat and drink. This is the gift of God.
I'm
to
completely
find
lost.
satisfaction
So-
in their work. It's really simple.
we have to stop
Just be
this.
happy.
So apparently he automatically wrote EC whatever, and then he found the Bible verse that somehow makes sense to him. This is the ramblings of an insane man. Really, we are watching a man who is quite possibly very mentally ill. Sorry to laugh about that. It's really not funny.
Be a good person. Live your life in a loving way. The comments are rolling in right now.
Live your life in a
so
loving way. How is it
Goddess
loving?
Guru Melina
to tell
says, sounds
people
like
fake
unifying the
angel?
duality by enjoying both spectrums of the human experience, light and dark personified. Trump slippers, Jennifer says.
He uses
Maybe
every
you
angle
missed the
possible
Bender
when it
days.
comes to
That was a
grifting.
party
I agree,
game.
Flubberlane.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Absolutely.
I didn't like drinking at all. I always got sick. Shimmering Wind says, this is our assignment. Take care of Mother Earth. Love
I
your mother.
agree.
Love our mother. Sonia Sunheart says the experimenter is God. I absolutely agree.
Next, he will claim he was a
Somebody
preacher.
says, I
in a
used to
past
have a lot
life.
more money,
Yes.
but I lost interest. It's funny. Bodhi Guya says that. If you let the pimple do its own thing, eventually the parasite will die, but the hardened skin will remain forever and needs to be cut off. Standard treatment, unless you can be super creative. Yeah, I might end up going to a dermatologist. I don't know. It's just lasting way too long. It's really upsetting. But it's also inspiring me not to use, because if I use, it gets worse.
How much
And it is
time
true.
is
Now that I'm
Wilcock
not touching it, the
talking
mass is
about
reduced
his
considerably.
talking
It's
about his
probably
dick?
7 times bigger before than it is now. It's going down. It's going to be fine. I just got to not touch it. You're absolutely right.
He's been talking about zit through
So many
3
synchronicities with the
streams
stream
now.
today. David, thank you. Says Trip. Goddess Guru Melina says, we're living in the Willy Wonka factory. The pure of heart will get the entire factory. Ann Makriowski says September only has 30 days. Okay, well, sorry about that. I was getting sober. I didn't know what day it was. But it was definitely around that time. Good try, David. You're getting there. Practice that voice and frequency within your voice. Okay. Glad that you think I'm getting
Yeah,
there.
he may be delusional.
Nino
and
Rodriguez
you
had a
may be
solar
right.
flare dream and vision. It would be wonderful to have a video with Nino Rodriguez as David. I have seen his work, and I do like his work, so I would be open to doing an interview with Nino for sure. We can make that happen. What are your thoughts on ayahuasca? I've never done it. I don't really want to be throwing up. I know you have to go through that to do it.
Yeah, it's really important
Trip
info.
says you should play music for us on the stream sometime. I hopefully will do that. K Duck says it does not get cuddlier
The
when
Willy
they do well.
Wilcock factory.
Stud implies a lot of sexual activity. I don't really do that, but thank you anyway. Once I get in a monogamous relationship again, I will. But
It is interesting. So many people
YouTube
are there
won't let me
lapping
comment,
up
everything is fixed. Well, I
that
guess
mess like
we
he
got that
ate
one through.
nutso.
I did the work, David. I started paying off karmic debt a long time ago, and I began to live a righteous life so I could cut
Yeah.
the last ties by calling judgment in my relationships. We should talk sometime. The creator knows how Satan thinks. It was created to be who it is. Bingo. Same thing
Yeah.
with the sit LOL JK. Okay.
David
bentonite
Wilcock got the
clay
herpes from a
intermittent with
toilet
castor oil
seat.
and pungent oil.
How it got on
Okay,
his
great.
lips? Well, yeah. What was he doing?
So
Licking a
I'm gonna
toilet
keep
seat?
trying to get this over with.
Kissing a toilet
Who
seat?
better to be a hero than those we considered to be
I
damned?
thought the reptilians
We go on and
gave
on
him
from
that
there.
when they butt banged him.
I once knew a very rich man. He only had notes. Says Tarot
He's starting to
Tarot.
look like Carrot Top.
What are your thoughts on the
Oh,
Book of
no.
Mormon? I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff in the Book of Mormon. There's something going on there. It's not just It's not just BS.
Yeah.
You know, there's
He's halfway
definitely
there. He's
something
already
interesting
quoting the
about that.
Bible and
Okay,
talking to angels.
So now I want to get to stuff that you guys haven't seen before, but they did at my last conference. It was on November 10th, 1996, that I began doing my remote viewing
Live
practice
long and prosper.
that led to the Archangel Michael contact beginning. Now, I did have a really interesting drawing of
Yeah,
weird
good.
symbols and a light
Yeah.
body activation in 1998. This was on January 18th, 1998. I thought about putting this in the Michael books.
Has to keep
But honestly,
reminding us
what
that he's a
happened
genius
was
since
the
his
book
deranged
needed to have
ramblings
a
aren't
certain number
convincing
of
us.
pages to be synchronistic, and I just couldn't fit it in. I think it was 432 pages or something like that.
Busting
I can't put
blisters
this one in. I'm
reptilian
gonna have to do it
style.
later. So now I'm
Yes.
going to do this slide for you. The main thing is at the bottom here, where I saw a vision of myself, and first I'm just standing there, and then all this, that's the bottom left, and then I start having all this light growing across my body. Big, bright
He drew himself getting a rainbow light body.
light, very white, and then I look from the side, and you see it's coming out in these amazing strands that were very white and very bluish white luminous, and then I start leaning down like this.
That would
start
be
kind of
something,
leaning
Cameron.
in, crunching in into a squatting position, and this created a ball of energy inside between where my knees and my hands were that created this incredible blast of light, and then I literally turned into a lighthouse beacon, and that's what you see at the top where the arrow goes to the top. I became this lighthouse beacon that could lead other people through the same thing. And the thing
He's
on the
a
top
beacon,
seems
all
to
right.
be the badges that they were using in this space program that I had. So,
Again, with the,
it
with
does
the
have some
bloated
weird
sense of
German-looking
self-importance,
stuff to it
he's a
without getting
beacon
too
of
much more
light for
specific.
the world.
That's what I think this was. I think it was probably very negative.
That's not a new
They
one.
were
He
very
promised
sympathetic
everybody
with that
rainbow light
ideology.
bodies already.
So
a
now
couple
to round
times.
us out, we're already at 2.5 hours, so I can get done a little earlier than usual. We have a
I
summary
know
message
his
from
dreams
3.
mean all kinds of stuff,
And
right?
so this is very interesting because it totally ties in with the food pellet reading,
Yeah,
with the
what
idea
happens
that
when
the
you
Bible
die,
prophecy
Patty?
says
You're
to
right.
eat, drink, and be happy in your work. This is the gift of God.
David Wilcock would probably
And
pick your
then,
dog. I
in my
think he
original
would.
message from 1992,
1998,
it's like 2/3 of people
he was
are gonna
about
die.
26,
People will
post
be
high school
dropping like
career.
flies all around you from a
Yeah.
false food pellet. It causes disease. Very, very weird. That's not what Michael is saying. By the time I
He
did
probably
these
did
readings,
throw it
when I
on
get to
Saturday
July
night. And he
1998,
goes, yeah.
this is now in book 3 that we have a summary message that very eloquently describes the core of what Michael says is going to happen, which
Yeah,
is the
I
same
bet he
as
did
the
too.
Virgin Mary's
I
prophecy
bet he
in
did
Herb
too,
and Doll.
yeah.
Okay, so check this out. I gave it the heading, A Rediscovery of
Arlene
Light
doesn't want to go
Transforms
anywhere
the
that
Body.
Wilcock is leading.
Remember in all of this that you are beings of light. And thus
Beacon,
the
more
ascension
like
is not
tweaking.
necessary per
Chicago
se
420.
for said lightness of being to exist. Whoops,
He
should be
found
on the
himself
side. There
doggy
we go.
style. Yes.
Remember in all this that you are beings of light. The ascension is not necessary for this lightness of being to exist. It is simply an allowing, a rediscovery of such light, which then transforms the denser
Yeah, I
vibrations of the
agree.
third density
GK
body
says
you
he's
are currently
jumping
familiar
over
with.
the years and nothing makes
It will
any
then
sense.
be
It's
unnecessary
like the,
to continue
it's
using
like the
such
ramblings
a
of a
vehicle, in other words,
crazy
the physical
person.
body, in what you would term as the future. Wait for it.
Teabagged by the
For
reptilians.
anyone
That's how he
on
got
this
those
planet.
zits. Yeah,
So
I
this
don't
new
either.
discovery of light, which we were calling the, you
Does
know,
it-
the
yeah,
final food
like
pellet at the end of the maze.
final food
actually
pull.
make-
Does any of this make sense to anybody else that's listening to this? Am I wrong that none of this shit makes any sense whatsoever? It's like nonsensical ramblings of a crazy mental patient, right? Like just, I don't know. It's just there's none of this makes any sense. Like, oh, in 1998, I automatically wrote this Bible verse. And then the Archangel Michael told me I have a light being body and I don't need ascension to access my light body. Like, what the hell does this have to do with anything? Anything. It is nonsensical ramblings of a lunatic we are listening to.
Makes it so you don't even need to have a body anymore. Wow. That is exactly what ascension is. You're going to become a light being. And for anyone on this planet,
Legit
and that's the whole point.
schizophrenia. It's utter
Michael's message
nonsense.
is that everybody
Yes,
gets
Patty
to
says
ascend.
no
It's not
sense
gonna
at
be
all. All right,
2/3
as long as it's not
disappearing
just
first.
me. I thought
Everybody
maybe I'm
who's still
just
here.
stupid.
is going to be going through this.
And I don't get
It
it.
is after this transformation, therefore, that the cleansing of the third dimensional
Ramblings
earth will
written
take
in
place
shit in his
as a result of
bathroom.
the changes that are now occurring. So we don't get
Thanks for
a
being
big,
member.
nasty, terrifying
Just
solar
lost
flash
SGK.
until we've already been through the end of this process.
Utter gibberish.
And that's very, very
Yes.
reassuring.
Stargate SG-1.
We're not going to have a catastrophic earth change.
Yes.
We're going to go through this non-catastrophically, even though we all have been led to believe that there will be one because of so many ancient religious and spiritual prophecies. We learned our lessons. We don't have to go through this. It's incredible. We can assure you that the fourth density sphere now opening will be quite eminently suitable for the needs of all those involved. So this is going to be your ascension. I'm talking to you.
Here's what doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He's saying that this stuff was brought to him by an angel in 1998. Then why didn't he talk about any of this on his original website, Ascension 2000? Instead, he said that there would be catastrophic earth changes, a massive solar flash that would destroy Earth and be a catalyst for the ascension event. And now, 26 years later, he says that, the Archangel Michael told us that it would be a non-catastrophic disclosure. He's completely contradicting his previous claims with these new claims that make no sense. Of course, the last claims leading up to the year 2000 made no sense, but now this stuff doesn't make any sense either.
Now, you will go through this as long as you're alive by sometime next year. It will require some degree of effort on behalf of its new inhabitants to seek out the telepathic and psychokinetic means to mentally rearrange the discordant matter structures, as we've said. So Michael has informed us that we will have telekinetic abilities that are so incredible that if you walk into an area that's all
I'll be
garbage
reading the
and
dictionary for
disgusting,
super chats.
you can literally transform it with your own mind and body, your own soul, into a healthy, fresh garden or forest. You can.
Oh, that's good news. So we can just transform a garbage dump with our brains. And this promising people that you're going to get superpowers. This is the third time that he's promised everybody they're going to get superpowers. And it didn't work the first two times he predicted we'd all get superpowers. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say none of us are getting superpowers.
You can do this just with the power of your mind. That's how powerful we're going to be. So he's saying it's incredible. Those recently ascended will be greatly surprised by the abilities they actually have.
Discordant matter structures.
Once
Yeah,
the
talk
Christ
about big words that don't mean
activated
anything.
within them in such a matter. The needles can be turned into a warm cushion. And this really gets into, think about needles and COVID and inoculations, okay? They're going to do some really interesting prophecy. Remember, this is July 5th, 1998.
Apocalyptic fanaticism. I agree,
Jersey's Mother's Day. I'm reading this again. You're not going to believe this. Everybody in the audience gasped when I did this in Colorado. When the future contains such unspeakable joy, that sounds good. It is necessary for us to continue to remind ourselves how quickly you and all of your people can lose sight of this. To us, it is necessary and difficult to not simply appear before you and command that you do the right things. Again, the experimenter can't just barge into the experiment. Instead, we want you to be aware that through means such as this contact, we are not violating free will. That's why trolls can believe this is fake.
Yeah. What are the odds of him doing the Comic-Con shuffle come May 2025? Yes.
This is so that the needles and pins of the upcoming transition, the false food pellet, the needles and pins of the upcoming transition. Everybody gasped.
I agree.
I was audible when people did this, and then they clapped. It was incredible. It was incredible. The needles and pins of the upcoming transition are then turned into a warm, natural cushion of pine needles, through which one might then make a bed for rest,
I don't know,
and preparation.
I don't know how he ended up.
Massive awakening that is immediately apparent in the near future.
How is
hold on, let's just stop. Needles and pins
special
of the upcoming transition is talking about inoculation-related deaths, which I had in my Reagan illustration, which I had in my Earth as an Experiment essay.
Good weed, Bob. Yes.
Natural warm cushion of pine needles. Pine needle tea is supposedly the best remedy if you have problems with this protein damage.
Oh no!
You go out, you harvest needles off of the freshest growing parts of the tree. You cut them off with scissors or something. You get them into a tea kettle and you boil this stuff, and then you drink that. And that pine needle tea apparently there's all kinds of really cool health benefits that you get from drinking
Possibly
this.
some real good Coke,
if you
says
do
the
take
Emerald
pine sap,
Rascals.
as I've done sometimes, I'm hiking in Canada, I find sap on the tree, I put it in my mouth. It has a very interesting medicinal taste. Well, that turns out to really be something, the tree sap.
He's eating tree
So
sap
right here,
off
we've
trees.
got a COVID prophecy, and we've got the prophecy of the remedy.
Yes, I agree.
And then they
They
talk about the
hired
massive
him based
awakening
on popularity
immediately
of the New
apparent in
Age,
the near
not for
future, because they
credentials.
knew
Yes.
that it was going to be 2025, and I'm going to show you that here. And so it's only a year away from what we're talking
I agree,
about right
Anthony
now.
Peterson. He is not very coherent
Massive
here.
power surge going through the machine. Over and over
Every
again,
which
we
way
try
he
to
goes.
emphasize the
Yes.
positive aspects of the cycle. Lori
He
W.
smoked
just donated. Thank you, Lori.
heroin-laced hydro
And the
weed.
necessary to remain clear and pure.
Is
And
he gonna cry in
understand
this video? I don't think so.
Extra
Yeah.
crispy says my
David,
girl
David stuff.
med
Sniff,
beds,
sniff.
please. My girlfriend's mom just died of cancer after being diagnosed 4 months ago. My grandmother is very sick. The
Just
world
chowing
needs
down
healing.
on the tree sap.
I absolutely agree. And let's hope that this happens as soon as possible. The sooner we all awaken, the faster we're going to get better.
I need a
Kathleen
chock full of
Minucci says we have a
terpenes.
choice
Yeah.
in how our life goes. We create our own reality. Solar flares are removing my desperation or depression. Sorry, that's I guess I'm
Not a
reading my own
tree
shit
hugger,
there.
just a sap licker.
Once I feel great. Somebody
Don't
says,
take
"Cosmic
pine needle
Wave Rider says,
tea
David,
or
the
eat
way
any
show of
sap.
light."
Yeah,
Thank you.
by the way, yeah. He shouldn't be telling people to
Anunnaki
do stupid
pines
shit
and
like that.
Grenade.
It could be
Okay.
poisonous.
5 needle pine trees, certain ones are the best, says Cynthia Marie Brewer. Oh my gosh, David, you are spot on, says Vuya.
Spot on.
Best natural treatment.
How many people in his audience do you think are actually
We're running out of time
schizophrenics?
here. I'm going to keep it below 3 hours, and we can do that. Okay, bang. Here we go. So we try to over and over again, we try to emphasize the positive aspects of the cycle and the necessity to remain clear and pure. Many people still do not believe something like this will happen, and they do not think it is necessary to be clear and pure. For that, we only have one explanation. Uh-oh. The degree of unpreparedness, even now, on behalf of most people, for the ascension is vast. That's right, mate. They're simply not ready. That's why we had to deploy this so-called weapons system in order to sort of, lighten the load a bit. I actually heard Uncle Jack and other insiders talk to me about this. He told me there's going to be an injection. Everybody's going to have to take it.
Oh,
I heard that back
insiders.
in 2010.
His insiders, right?
But now we are getting more prepared, and I'm helping you learn what you have to do. It's very simple. Christ teaching, be more loving. As the event is now so close, and look at what just happened.
Yeah, I would be very
This past
careful
week, we
with,
had the solar flash.
with anything
right?
you're going to
It
ingest.
perfectly underlines what I'm talking about at Garabandal and the solar flash prophecy. We have aurora borealis all over the world.
Lots of new age nuts in that audience. Yeah,
the
I can
energy
imagine.
coming in to bring it to fruition is literally unstoppable. It sure looks that way. All pockets of resistance.
Fair
all
point,
lower
Flip Out.
vibrations
You're
will
right.
experience
You're right. We
explosive
have our
turmoil. That's
own
what we're seeing
crazy
right now,
people here too.
for the
So.
simple fact that the influxes of energy are far too great
Classic. He
maintained
knew
with
it
any
all
real
along.
stability.
Yes. David
We
is
then
his
see
own
the
audience
timing of
and
these
talks to
events with the
himself.
ascension
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
occurs for a discrete, quantifiably genuine purpose. This purpose is that the energy itself, which is bringing about said transformation, is intolerant of any vibrations that are not excellent, pure, and loving. Again, it is as though a massive surge of power is going through a machine not yet upgraded to handle the higher load of voltage.
I just wanted to say, like, I don't know what an angel speaks like, but does this sound like an angel talking? It doesn't to me. It sounds like David Wilcock rambling. That's what it sounds like. So, a big part of me thinks that this dude just talked to himself for hours on end and wrote it all down in 1998. And now he thinks there's some massive cosmic significance and that he was actually talking to an angel when essentially he was talking to his imaginary friend or himself.
That implies solar
This
flash.
dude
That
needs some
implies
friends
grid
or
collapse.
something.
And then I already read this a couple weeks ago in Colorado, and here we are. Now there's been a solar flash, and everybody's worried about the grid going down. So that was prophetic that I read this 2 weeks ago, right before this solar event again happened. Amazing. It's totally amazing.
Solar events happen all the time.
Compare
Doesn't mean you were
thyself to the
correct in your
scintillating
prediction.
merger with the light. This sounds awesome. When our ships finally do arrive in full earnest, this
Who
is
would have
gonna be
thought he would have
worldwide
predicted it? Yeah,
contact all
people
over
get
the world.
injections yearly.
Flying saucer type UFOs, the day of truth, the moment of truth. It's going to happen, folks. They do this on purpose. They have
Willie,
to tell
the
you in
used car
advance in
sales
writing what they're
angel.
going to do.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether you believe David Wilcock or not, or whoever else it is. They're still going to do it. They fulfilled their contract. They have to tell you what they're going to do. Whether you listen to it or not, they don't care. They're still going to show up when the time comes.
Well, he said that's
When
May
our ships finally
25th.
do arrive in full earnest, we know that you will be prepared and have been prepared. Very interesting. Go then, prepare thyself for the scintillating merger with the light that beckons
Prepare
you.
thyself.
Peace be with you in the light of everlasting love. Now we're going to jump ahead 3 days to July 8th, and it gets even more exciting. It says we are preparing
Does
our
anybody
official
else
commencement of
think this
advertising.
is not exciting?
Advertising, again, is them letting us know that they're real. They're going to do UFO sightings. They're going to let us see their ships sometimes. That's what they're talking about.
Angels talk like Pee Wee Herman says.
Now that we are
really
preparing
nice.
our official commencement of advertising, we can expect many great and wonderful
Is he a
changes that will occur
UFOs
very
and spiritual guy?
spontaneously.
Yeah,
as
a
a
little bit
result
of
of
both.
this. Valhalla awaits
His
for those
old
warriors
lady
who have
audience
tested
must
their
have hot
muster
flashes watching
and
him.
who are willing to march headlong into a great battle without fear of the repercussions. And we still have 4,372 people. Hardly anybody's dropped off. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. We're almost done.
Thank God.
Every time you say something, it serves its purpose. You are coming closer to true knighthood in the eyes of the Creator. We couldn't ask for a
Interesting
more
archaic
appropriate
revival.
title. As we continue forward, we might eventually
Welcome,
even
Entropic
regain our former
Horizon. Thanks for being a
stature
member.
as king, prophet, priest, and advisor. This is obviously
Next,
a
he's
king
going
in a very
We will
metaphysical
all
sense of
die
metaphor,
someday. Yeah.
but it is
Maybe
there
he'll
just
finally
to
get a
say.
hit.
And I think this is also talking about
Finally
me
predict
personally.
something real.
The prophecies
that
in this
actually
book,
happens.
they talk about how if I was Edgar Casey reincarnated, again, the faces look the same, the astrology is the same. He was King David. He was who built the Great Pyramid. He was the sleeping prophet, Edgar Casey. So it says he will regain his former stature as king, prophet, priest, and advisor. Very metaphysical sense, not really a king,
Wilcock gives me
but something
vapors.
similar. So this makes me wonder what exactly is going to happen to me in the future. Will I become a political figure of some kind? It appears that I will.
Oh, let's go into
It may have
politics.
something to do with the United States, and it may just be this embassy that the Archangel Michael and his humanities want me to run. They apparently are going to have me running this embassy for them, which means that, you know, if they want to meet with people on Earth, you're going to have to go to the embassy and you're going to have to go through our intake process.
Oh, listen to that bullshit. So the angels want David Wilcock to run the angel embassy. And if you want to talk to the angels, you have to go through David Wilcock. This is some grade A level bullshit right here. And by the way, there have been many alien and spiritual gurus who have at various times claimed that the angels or the aliens wanted them to run the embassy, including the Raelian UFO cult and several others. So he's just stealing this idea from previous UFO cults that started embassies.
And I guess they feel that I've studied enough. But this also is not just about me. It's about everybody. Any person.
It's not
who
just
has
about
the
me. He makes everything about him. Smoke detectors go off in his house. It's about him. You know?
abilities. If you drop them off on a planet, they would become the king. They would become the spiritual leader. They would become a messianic figure, because the ascended being is a very, very powerful being.
Wilcock for president.
John 14:12, Jesus says, "As I do these things," meaning his miracles, "so shall you do them, and greater things." Right? Like creating a whole new world with your hands, just energetically changing a garbage dump into a forest.
Yeah, the Bible doesn't say any of this shit. He's just extrapolating and piling bullshit on top of real Bible verses. Yes, there is a Bible verse that says, you shall do these things and greater things, but that is in relation to the people who are given the gifts of the Holy Spirit, the original apostles of Jesus Christ. His followers were given spiritual gifts of healing and enlightenment and more, and the ability to cast out demons, among other things. They didn't say you'd be able to transform a garbage dump into a beautiful forest with just your mind. He's just making this shit up.
Or I go unto my Father, Mother, God. That's the quote from John 14:12. So this is about everybody, not just me.
It's about everybody now.
So then this dream comes in.
You have to go through Wilcock because nobody else can see or hear them.
Really talks about 2025,
Point Elmer,
right on the
yeah.
nose. It seemed as
Yeah,
though
if you
something
want to talk to
crashed on
Wilcock imaginary friends.
near
You
my
gotta go
old bike
to him
trail
because
at
only
Lock
he
8,
can
there
see
was a
them and
lock
hear
on
them.
the river that made it, so boats could go up and down a big hill in the river. It was strongly associated, this extraterrestrial UFO that crashed was associated with a book called
I want to hear
2150
some more
AD.
rambling about the loud
Only
fridge.
now I was seeing 2 books.
Well, we got
So,
another 20 minutes. He
give you a
might
little
start bitching
context here
about
to
that
explain
again,
this.
crying like a bitch.
Edgar Casey had a dream while
Grade
he was
A level
alive,
bullshit.
in
Yes.
which it was the year 2158
David
AD.
is out of his mind. Can't
He had
say I
reincarnated,
disagree.
and everybody was really excited that he had come back. It really
He's
does
saying
seem to
nothing
predict
at
my
all, says
lifetime,
Bob Perkins.
what I'm doing now. But in this lifetime, in 2158 AD, he was traveling in a
I agree.
cigar-shaped
The
UFO
Bible verse is
with no
taken out of
wings.
context by
He had this in
Wilcock.
the 1930s, I believe. Cigar-shaped craft with no wings. He has this dream in
Me
the
too.
1930s. He's with these people. They're in this ship, and they're flying over America.
Elmer's going to start a
And
career
now
channel at
Nebraska
Wilcock's
had
old
become the
fridge.
coastline. There was some type of pole shift. There was some type of oceans encroaching on the land. California
Hey,
is
King
gone.
of
Now the coast
Hugo
is Nebraska.
Mundo.
As he was driving over, he noticed that people's houses looked like
Hello,
they were
Lee
made
Martini.
out of all
Welcome.
glass. Very, very different architecture than what we have now.
Yeah,
You see this type
Edgar
of
set
weird
up
architecture all
a
over the solar
hospital so
system.
Edgar could heal
So
people.
this is a
went
very,
bankrupt.
very interesting thing. Then somebody wrote a book called 2150 AD.
Yeah,
where they
the
took
noise of the
general
smoke
idea of
detectors is
Edgar
a
Casey's
message,
story
but
of
the fridge
Atlantis
noise makes them
and Edgar
cry.
Casey's
Good
dream,
point. Yeah.
and they wrote an entire work of nonfiction or fiction, depending on how you look at it, about this future reality. And I had read the entire book, and I actually just read it.
He's drinking
And
the
I was very
Kool-Aid.
impressed
Yes.
with it. I thought it was wonderful. So I was all excited about this ascended future, but it frustrated me that, apparently I was a reincarnation of Edgar Casey. I already knew about this, but now I got to die again, and I got to come back again 2158 AD in order to see the world that I really wanted to have.
Oh, he's going to
So I was
reincarnate
sad about
again.
that. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm just in the waiting room. My life right now isn't really going to be that exciting. I got to wait for yet another time to come back. So that was very perplexing. But then again, I had this dream very soon afterwards, and it tells me, no. It's not 2150 AD.
It's so funny, all these claims of being Edgar Casey reincarnated. He refused to take the test that the Edgar Casey Foundation has for people who make that claim. And in fact, a family member of Edgar Casey's asked him to stop making those claims, and he refused to do so. So against the wishes of the family, he's still claiming that he's Edgar Casey reincarnated. And this is against the wishes of the Wilcock Foundation, against the wishes of Edgar Casey's family.
Actually, 2025.
They don't want him grifting off of
next
their relative.
They were saying that 2025 is the same thing as what Casey's vision was of 2158. Now, if the Casey Earth changes had taken place, if California had sank, like in that vision where Nebraska's the coastline, it probably would have taken until 2158 AD for us to reach that point, because the Law of One says that it's a 100
Is Edgar Casey in the Bible or the old fridge?
That fits.
David, don't bother coming back.
158 years after 2000. That's right within the Law of One window. And in my Michael books,
I
also
agree,
talk
King of
about
Hugo Mundo. He
Hindu,
won't take the test
modern day Indian
because
stuff
he knows he can't pass that
on
test.
this website that they had, which is all in the book, and that they predicted from their own ET contact that it would take 100 to 300 years of transition. So it fits with all this data. Now I'm seeing 2 books. One
That's
book
interesting,
had the date of
T-Bird.
Casey's
You must have
dream
said
vision,
something he didn't like.
2158 AD.
Earth changes.
But the other book had
Yes.
2025 AD. And again, I can prove that this was there. I can prove that I had this dream in 1998. I have the original audio tape recordings locked up in the safe. I have all kinds of transcripts on probably 20 different hard drives, 5 or 6 different computers that I don't use anymore. There's no question that this actually happened. And I had 2025 sounded so far away to me when I got this. Whatever. I don't know what this means, but I'll write it down.
So he's saying May
So
2025.
2 books. One was 2025. I now remember clearly that the 2025 book had the same cover as the book Millennium Prophecies by A.T. Mann. So it's got this big, the year 2025 is an all glowing white light all the way around it. This very big, stunning example of 2025, which again, the glowing light suggests the solar flash, the first wave of ascension.
There's glowing lights, so that means that they're talking about the solar flash.
Michael's books. I
Bullshit.
didn't really write these books. So the 2025 book had this big starburst cover around the numbers. The magical sparkle of 2025.
Oh,
and
magical
2158.
sparkle now.
We started to look around for a room. I had a connection with my friend from the Edgar Cayce Institute somehow. I knew the book 2158 AD was over in the corner of the room. I think the same room was involved in dreams I had about the new development way back when I was younger. This was a place near my house. The books were standing on the shelf. One of them looked older and said 2025 AD. There was a new book that seemed to sparkle with light.
I'm sure it
It had
sparkled.
metallic letters in a tall, bold font with a large shadow
It had
boundary
glitter
around
around it.
and this light behind it.
Yes.
The new book said 2158 AD in front of a light burst. So clearly, they are telling us the light burst Cayce thought was going to happen in 2158 is happening in 2025. That's why the two dates are shown. The book is going to change. It's not 2158 anymore. It's 2025.
Oh, big things happening
We'll talk
next
about more
year.
2025 prophecies later.
What's he going to
was
say
very
when
exciting.
nothing happens that he predicts
Deep within all
in
of us, there is a
2025?
source of guidance. This is Michael now talking. That is holy, chaste, and pure. Right. This is from June 3rd, 1998. And it really caps off the whole message.
Yeah, he's saying the same exact
This is a
stuff
source
he
of guidance
said
that
leading
seeks
up to
only to
2012.
wash
Same exact
clean
bullshit.
the
Yep.
bacteriological warfare of the lower self. This is the second time the whole audience gasped when I read this, because how did they know there was going to be bacteriological
You're
warfare
right,
in
Cameron.
1998?
Yeah,
And
you're
isn't that
absolutely right.
exactly what's going on? And wouldn't it mean if people were hurt by these, that the healing is
How
the
long will
washing,
it be
cleaning
before he
of
grifts off of My Little
bacteriological
Pony?
warfare? The healing that
After
they were all gonna experience in
2025, when none of his
2025? Yes,
predictions for
absolutely.
2025 happen.
That way, we still get to have a planet.
Yeah.
The ultimate conscious choice is made
Keep
to
saying the
renounce
same
fear.
over
As I
and
said,
over
you
again.
have to get rid of
Yeah,
that fear.
I predict the Cosmic Con
That's
shuffle.
the evil working on you. If you're afraid,
Yeah, me
it's
too.
the evil working on you.
Can't wait for
So this
2025
source
to
of
come and
guidance
go and
seeks
not
to
know
rid
this
the
shit's gonna happen.
germs and pollution that we heap upon ourselves.
But
There again is
you know
another
what? He
prophecy.
has,
COVID
listen, I
inoculate.
just want to put this out there. He has no shame. He said a lot of this same predictive nonsense leading up to the year 2000. And then nothing happened. And he never addresses that he was wrong in all of his predictions leading up to the year 2000. Then he recycled all of this shit leading up to the year 2012. And none of it happened. And he never addressed that all of his predictions for 2012 were completely and totally wrong. He is the world's worst psychic prophet. I'm telling you, I've looked into a lot of psychics, and a lot of them are very good at faking things, and they at least get some kind of predictions right. He's batting zero. Three tries at predicting the same shit. Just changed the date from 2000 to 2012. Now he's changing it from 2012 to 2025. What's he going to say when none of this happens in 2025? The same thing he said in 2000 and 2012 when none of this shit happened. He thinks everybody just forgets that he made all these bold predictions. And remember, we're having a mass contact event and ascension in May 2025. That's according to David Wilcock. Within 1 year, the ascension event's going to happen, and the aliens, there's going to be a mass alien contact event by May 2025.
Patience. Minute after minute, hour after hour, day after day, year after year. These forms of spiritual, mental, physical pollution need to be repeatedly flushed out, cleaned, and renewed.
People still follow him. What is wrong with his followers? They ignore all the wrong
flush it out of the system. Very interesting.
Yeah, they have the attention spans of
energy
fleas, I guess, Arlene. They forget that he already predicted all this shit, and none of it happened the first two times he predicted it.
Where lack of understanding held sway, true understanding comes to the fore.
Yeah, he changes the years to keep on grifting. I agree, GK. Absolutely.
Companionship become the new
his only credibility comes from reaching aliens.
That's
not credible. That's a completely, totally flawed, wrong theory.
There's a time to gather stones together.
It happened in a neighboring galaxy, just like that 2012 solar flash. Yeah, he'll have some excuses.
So here he's saying we're separateness and isolation.
He'll have some excuses for why none of this happens. Thank God we only got 12
spontaneity and companionship become the new standard, and we've all been isolated in the lockdowns. This is all prophetic. The defining moment of any soul's existence.
No shortage of idiots in this country, unfortunately.
Choice made to renounce
and to agree with you.
Oh my God! And look at this. You can't really see it, but there's 4442 concurrent viewers right now on the video chat. Let me take a picture of this. If it doesn't go away.
There's significance to the number of live viewers that he has too. And how many stupid people do you think there are in the United States that 4,000 people tune in to listen to this nonsensical ramblings of a lunatic?
I want you to see this later on so you can see I'm not making this up. Some people don't even care, but whatever. I think it's important.
Yeah, good point.
And,
Elmer Boilerhouse. All the old ladies that heard his 2000 crap were
Perfect.
dead before he recycled it
I
in
love the numerical
2012.
synchronicity. So
Yeah.
that was a really good one. Anyway, the ultimate choice is made. The defining moment in any soul's existence is when
Twilight
the
Zone
ultimate
in a
conscious choice is made to
nutshell.
renounce fear.
Yes.
You got a triple-digit synchronicity on that one, and to surrender to the absolute
Yeah.
faith and trust.
Yeah.
In the
Well, we're
process
slowly
of the
growing
workings
there,
of the
Archaic
universe.
Revival. Thanks for being a member. That helps.
You will attain new and profound spiritual status, as they've been saying. Understand that by listening to your own guidance day after day, week after week, month after month, and following it carefully, you will attain new and profound spiritual status. That
Oh, we're
sounds
going to
great.
get profound spiritual
By
status.
working with us, your guides, you are coming to realize your true identity, that you have and always will be a perfect working fragment of the one from whence you sprang. Furthermore, you realize that your destiny is also to eventually return to that oneness. This destiny, by necessity, involves a step-by-step process. Wow, lots of people are donating money right now. Pauline Chartrand and Fruise,
Stupid
thank you
people.
guys both. Involve a step-by-step evolution through process of different density levels of experience. Conscious access to fourth density in the near future, he says. At this particular space-time nexus in your planet's history, you are now entering into the time frame where the availability of energy for the next density, next level, or next dimension is quite strong enough to allow conscious access to it in the near future. And this absolutely gets stronger in an event like we're having right now, this massive geomagnetic storm. I was on the toilet this morning. I do that every morning. I don't usually see lightning every 60 seconds, but it was happening this morning. And it was all orbs, all plasma balls. It's incredible. So something's going on, and it's activating this Christ consciousness, this logos energy inside of you. Though this will not occur all in one moment, there is every reason to believe it will be occurring within 2 years or less. And again, it didn't happen in 2000. This was in 1998, but that prophecy was unsealed on, you guessed it, February 11th, 2023, which means February 11th, 2025 is the prophecy. So that's very nearby. We're already almost in the summer. You wouldn't know it from here. It's all storms and winter and everything. But anyway, lo and behold, this is the last thing I needed to show you. We are now at the Global Peace Meditation within the 3-hour mark. So I'm very, very glad for that. I'm very happy for that.
He's so happy that he could ramble
Because
for 3
again,
hours straight.
we want to keep it to within 3 hours. It seems to be kind of a good guideline. Allison Carr just donated $10. Thank you. So I have like 7 minutes to go here. So I think we're going to just dive right in. You guys are writing me great stuff in the comments. They're still coming in really fast. The article about HARP shutting down is from 2014. Okay, well, yeah, we don't.
If we show it,
there was definitely some weird stuff going on, and that was just somebody writing something in my journal. But again,
Wilcock on the
you can
shitter.
be a skeptic all day long. You
Yeah.
can try to say whatever you want to say. But the fact is, we had the biggest event since the Carrington event. If it had hit the Earth directly, we would have lost our power grid. It is a warning from the Logos, a warning from the solar Christ, because there's a galactic Christ.
He always talks about being
solar
on the
Christ.
toilet. Yes.
These stars are alive. The galaxy is alive. The universe is alive, and it's the one infinite creator. That's all there really is.
He's a
So
prolific
I
New
do
Age
believe that
consumer.
the things I'm
Yeah.
telling you are true. I do
Like-
believe that we're heading into a very profound and wonderful new shift. I'm sorry that the aesthetics on my face, that I've had this horrible zit, but you know, some
Again, with
people
this
don't like
zit.
it. Okay, that's fine. Sorry about that.
Do a
I'm still gonna
meditation
do the show.
while
I'm
on
not
the
going to hide
shitter.
away just
Yeah.
because of this. It's a big exercise for me in humility. And if I try to pop it, it just keeps coming back. So I just got to leave it alone. I may have to go to a dermatologist, whatever. No big,
You may
hopefully
have
by
to get
next
some
week, it'll be even less
herpes
expensive.
medication, David Wilcock. You might need a
Whatever.
herpes medication.
So now I want to use this technology of the Global Peace Meditation because this stuff really
It
works.
doesn't work.
And it's really a good thing for us,
Anybody,
in my opinion,
anybody notice
to come up with.
David Wilcock started doing global peace meditations when there was no major wars or conflicts in the world. And as soon as he started doing global peace meditations, all these big wars started popping off, like the war in Ukraine and the war in the Middle East and Israel, right? But he says that the world is more peaceful because he's doing these meditations. No, arguments can be made that since he started doing these global peace meditations at the end of his live streams, that the world has become a more violent and more wars have started since he started.
This. So let's have you get both feet flat on the floor now.
Oh, now we're going to
Close
see
your eyes.
the fades.
Take a nice deep breath, and then just let it go.
Everything went down the shitters.
And once
He
again,
started his peace meditations.
take a
His
nice
dog
deep breath.
tells him that the blood of his victims will
Just let it
cleanse
go.
the earth. Oh, Jesus. Thinking big thoughts. People should know about
Allowing
your honest
yourself
approach.
to feel more and more
An insecure
peace,
little man. I almost feel
more
sorry
and more
for him
presence
not.
in this moment. More and more of this journey of relaxation,
Next time he'll do the meditation
the
while
happiness of
dinner.
knowing that these prophecies are very real,
These prophecies are not real.
that we are all going through a massive consciousness upgrade.
We're not going to have our
It will
consciousness
eventually lead to
upgraded.
the awakening of the ascension for everyone on Earth,
There will be no ascension.
apparently by the year 2025. All of these events coalescing with the exposure and arrest of the evil forces on Earth.
Oh, again with the mass arrests.
Unstoppable,
The mass arrests again.
and allowing you to become more and more
Been promising
fulfilled in
mass
your daily
arrests
life,
1998.
more happiness, more joy,
Another thing that never happens.
happiness in your work, happiness in eating and drinking,
Let's medicate. Yeah.
happiness in the basic,
Boring
lovely
life.
things that life can provide you.
Take off the Trump slippers and
As you
breathe.
breathe more deeply, seeing this energy going out
Okay,
into
everyone,
the
let's
world,
meditate, says Cal
healing
Poly.
all
Thanks for being a
those
member.
who are sick,
Tales
or
of the
who have
Sonic
been
Voyage
damaged,
is here. Welcome.
envisioning this true global healing where everybody, no matter how terrified they are, no matter how rough their health condition
How
may
can we
be,
meditate if he
no
won't
matter
shut
what they're
up?
dealing with, everyone is going to get to experience this together because we're all part of this massive initiative that is taking place.
I wonder what he's going to say in
Breathing,
2025 when none of this
allowing
shit
yourself
happens.
to go even
He's just
deeper,
going to go find a new grift.
deeper
I
into the
guarantee it.
stillness,
I guarantee he'll just
deeper
find a new
into the
grift.
silence, deeper into the peace and the
The filtered
wholesomeness
multicam trope is
and the
max
love
cringe.
that
Yeah,
is
it
available
makes it
in
even
this
worse.
moment. Breathing even more, allowing your consciousness to drift away even more,
Oh, my consciousness is drifting
becoming
away.
ever
already.
more peaceful.
My brain is
Only
filled with
lost
so
100
much
people. We have
bullshit from this past
4,258
hour that I'm having
members.
trouble
This is enough to
thinking.
do lots of things, folks. It's all live. Changing consciousness.
I saw my calendar,
accelerating
Cameron. He said it
reality
was
as
be
we
May of
bring this into
2025
this
when all this
cosmic
would happen.
awakening, where our souls are transformed.
And
Our
May's the
bodies
month
are
of my birthday, so I
transformed,
will not
and we
forget.
have staggeringly wonderful abilities that no one would
He's
have ever
playing the hits:
expected to
Mass
see.
Arrest, Ascension, Light Bodies, Prophecies on the
Continuing to
shitter.
relax,
Yep.
sending this energy to all those in the world who are suffering, who are dying,
Says blah blah
who
blah.
are having sickness and illness, who are in places of war, famine, and
He
catastrophe.
predicted the Diddy trials after that rotten banana
Seeing them
sandwich
going
back
through
then.
this
Yeah,
and being healed, being purified, and being restored.
someone call an exorcist.
And also,
Yeah.
of course, see this energy returning to yourself, this white light you envision surrounding you now, becoming brighter and brighter and brighter as you breathe in the energy of the solar changes, the energy of the transformation, turning you into something completely new, something whole and pure. And so we thank you for this opportunity to be here today. We thank you for this opportunity to embrace this spiritual guidance. We remind you that you are loved more than you could ever possibly imagine. And this is as it was,
Forehead is center frame.
is
Yes,
now,
he's on the toilet
as it
again.
always shall be. And so it is. And now let's return to the physical body. Start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes.
Oh,
In
things are
fact, I
wiggling
would
on
say,
me.
you know, if you had these
Yeah.
Trump slippers on, man, your toes might be very comfortable. Maybe we can sell these. I don't know. He already does. I'm sure he does.
He is a
But I got
broken
him in
record.
person in
He
Washington,
has
D.C.
followers at all.
So there you
Don't
have it.
underestimate
This
the
was a
power
great
of
show.
super people.
I hope that whoever called me back then wasn't freaking out about talking out of school, but you know, it would be wonderful if we can work with these guys. They just asked for things that we literally are forbidden by national security to do.
Oh, again, with
It made me
excuses
very,
for why
very
he
sad. I
can't
had
make the
such a
big
dark week,
spaghetti
you guys. It
deals.
was so bad.
Such a
I was
dark
very,
week.
very sad. I relapsed. I used medication. I'm sorry. I'm not going to probably do it today. I think I feel really good. You are helping me. You are helping me heal. and you are helping me stay clean. So I want to thank you guys for your loving support. Robert Romero says, DMT led to my awakening, pretty much a short ayahuasca experience without throwing up. I'm way too scared to do DMT. I've heard that it feels like dying. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't recommend it, but somebody wants to mess around with this stuff. I guess that's your choice.
Thanks for being a
David's
member.
eye demon is my stepdaddy, says grow and flow. I think you need to get out more. If this is your stepfather, then, that's something I'll just squeeze for you. And then daddy's not going to be too happy about that. Multicosmos333 says, love you, mate. Chill Mike says, so shall it be. El Nog says, blessings to everyone. Katina Salas says, Dave, you look beautiful. Who cares about a pimple? Apparently a lot of people do. I don't even care.
He doesn't care. He's been talking about it through the whole stream.
Wow, there's so much of it here. I should take off my feet rubbers. I love you. That was strong. David, you have a beautiful heart and soul. That was Mike P. Scientific Mystic said that. Dean Pratt, breathing is an addiction. The definition of healthy versus unhealthy.
I'm not going to use
today,
but you guys are
moderation,
keeping me clean.
Positive benefits offered. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so much more meditative to be here now because of the refrigerator not being a problem.
Again with the refrigerator.
We lost 4 people, so I'm going to hang up now. I want to thank you guys for being here. We're right on the mark of 3 hours. So thank you, everybody. We will see you on the next show. I'm David Wilcock. Peace out.
Oh, God, did we make it through? Yes, we made it through. We made it through another 3-hour festival of bullshittery. We did skip 45 or 50 minutes of him reading his high school nonsensical ramblings. And honestly, I have no regrets about skipping that. I don't know about you, but I didn't want to sit there for 45 or 50 minutes and listen to what he wrote in high school. The ego on this man to think that that is something important enough to make people sit through for 50 minutes, just absolutely ridiculous. We'll take some comments and questions. Algo Ray says, how many times has he mentioned the zit and the refrigerator in this stream? I think at least 10 times each. Yeah. Mission accomplished. Yes. Yes. We made it through Operation Shutdown. We made it through a whole stream without literally suffocating from bullshit overexposure. Too bad Rodden in and out and make a sculpture of David Wilcock sitting on the toilet, the stinker. Yeah. Richard S. Moore says, True Seekers will be making some great content in May 2025. You better believe it. Imagine the donations he will get if that turns out to be HPV cancer. I don't know. We're saying it's herpes. I'm not a doctor. Looks like herpes sores to me, though. I mean, I'm certainly no expert. Please skip the 3 hours next time. Noisy fridge can afford unlimited weed. Sounds hellish. He's so brave. Yes. That prophecy will come true. Probably. Flaming P Daddy. Woof. Sandra, new grift idea. Yeah. Arlene Atkins, the comments from his followers are just as nonsensical as his drivel. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And I realized somebody told me that it's interesting that somebody told me that I was muted on his channel. Okay, how do you know? But that's a long story. Anyway, I checked, and both of the primary accounts that I use on YouTube are both muted in his live chat. I'm not allowed to comment in there. This is not meditation. It's creepy guided relaxation at best. Yes. It's so scary how subservient the comments are. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Most true believer comment section. Yes. I did have something I wanted to share, and that is about false prophets. Since David Wilcock thinks he's such a biblical scholar, I spent 12 years studying the Bible, and I managed to find some Bible verses. Matthew 7, verse 15. Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. Matthew 24, verse 24. For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. And then Peter 2:1, but there were also false prophets among the people, just as there will be false teachers among you. They will secretly introduce destructive heresies, even denying the sovereign Lord who brought them, bringing swift destruction on themselves. And then there's John 1. Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. And this verse, this John 4:1, essentially is a warning that you don't listen to entities unless you are sure they are from God. Did David Wilcock test this so-called entity that he is allegedly channeling, these books he's selling people for $333? I don't think so. And again, there is a biblical principle called the test of a prophet. If the prophet is wrong even once, he's not a prophet of God. David Wilcock fails the test of a prophet hundreds or thousands of times. He cannot be communicating with angels. But pardon me. I have a few more Bible verses that are relevant here to false prophets. Jeremiah 14:14. Then the Lord said to me, the prophets are prophesying lies in my name. I have not sent them, or appointed them, or spoken to them. They are prophesying to you false visions, divinations, idolatries, and the delusions of their own minds. I'm going to read that one again. They are prophesying to you false visions, divinations, idolatries, and the delusions of their own mind. That's Jeremiah 14:14. Then we have Jeremiah 23:16. This is what the Lord Almighty says. Do not listen to what the prophets are prophesying to you. They will fill you with false hopes. They speak visions from their own minds, not from the mouth of the Lord. And then finally, Ezekiel 13:19. My hand will be against the prophets who see false visions and utter lying divinations. They will not belong to the council of my people or be listed in the records of Israel, nor will they enter the land of Israel. Then you will know that I am the sovereign Lord. And these Bible verses really do emphasize the seriousness of false prophecy and the need for discernment within all communities where people are making these claims. These Bible verses, they serve as warnings against blindly following individuals who claim prophetic authority but propagate nothing but deceit and falsehood. So yeah, we made it through another stream. We'll take a couple of comments and questions. Charles says he used medication today in suppository form. Yes. Moody Mongol says, jealousy. That's all I see in this live chat for David Wilcock. You're all jealous just because he has the most unfathomably gargantuan forehead in all of human history. Well, thank you for being a YouTube channel member. We appreciate you. Sandra McDonald says, wherever two or more people gather in my name, I shall be there. Too bad it's only him and himself. Patty Wilhelm says, very familiar verses. Yeah, I got something out of 12 years of Catholic school. At least I do know the Bible very well, Patty. I spent so much. When I think about Catholic school, you know, I mean, certainly I had the benefit of a good education. Despite my differences with the Catholic Church, they are good at educating people. But I think that I wish that they would have spent more time on things like science and math and maybe history or other things instead of so much time on the Bible. For those unaware, depending on the Catholic school, you could spend an hour or 2 hours every day just doing religious studies. And but I survived that. Yes. Without recognition of false prophets, how would we recognize evil? Yeah. And Elmer Boilerhouse says, maybe it's if the grift fails, he could earn a living renting his forehead as a ski resort. Okay. Even Elron knew not to record his crazy ramblings. Yes, absolutely. And Sandra says, "Yep, us Catholics can spell real well." Yeah, like I said, despite I really have a lot of problems with the Catholic. Oh, sorry, got blurry like Bigfoot with the Catholic religion and with Catholicism in general. But I'm thankful, Sandra, that I did go to Catholic school because the public schools were so bad that I knew kids that were like 12 years old and they could barely read. That's how bad the public school system in Philadelphia was. My parents were fortunate enough. My dad worked 2 jobs my whole life, Sandra. So he would work a full-time job during the day and then a part-time job at night. And, you know, some of that was so that he could have the funds available to send us to Catholic school. And then as we got older, like when I got to high school, my dad was like, "You're 14. It's time to get a job and pay for your own tuition." I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he wasn't. I watched just as in a restaurant to pay for a Catholic school that I really didn't want to go to. But I'm just glad that I survived. They did do a good job educating me. And I probably know an awful lot more about the Bible and Jesus than a lot of ministers and people that I know are full-time religious teachers. I never minded religion class, never knew any different, too young and dumb to think too much. Yeah. Arlene Atkins takes a special kind of arrogance to say that recording your own voice is proof. Yeah, imagine that. John P. Adventures is here. Stephen, you turn out very good and still developing. Yeah, I want to be a better man, John P. Adventures. I'm working on that. I'm sure my wife wants me to be a better man, too. You ever notice that? No matter if you're a married man, no matter how hard you try, if you got a good woman, she still thinks that you could be doing more, to improve. And also, been with my wife for like 25 years and recently figured out that this whole 25 years we've been working on me. She's apparently perfect, but what are you going to do? Moody Mongol. I think it was pre-King David Bible that stated, "And lo, it came to pass that a prophet will arise, one unable to walk through the human doors without bumping his forehead." Unbelievers. I don't know that that is correct. I have to look it up. I need to have your motivation, Stephen. Yeah. So we've done our due diligence. I was going to do this Murder in UFO Land, but considering that I have to switch where I'm streaming again and move the microphones and some of the lights and all this other stuff, I just wanted to do a simple one tonight. Tomorrow, I'm hopeful that, I will be live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. I'm not sure if we're going to run that Murder in UFO Land episode. I think we will. But regardless, I will be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I hope you'll be here with us. Trolly Troll says, "I don't think being Catholic is something that you should be ashamed of." Well, I'm no longer Catholic. I consider myself a recovering Catholic. I was raised Catholic. And by the way, I've given the Catholic Church multiple chances to redeem itself in my mind, my heart, and my spirit. And every time they have let me down. And I'm not giving them another chance. They were very disrespectful to my parents. They were very disrespectful to my autistic son. And I'm not forgiving them. I forgave them so many things, and they just kept on being very nasty and disrespectful to members of my family. And at some point, I guess, especially being a father and protector of those children, at some point you say, it's my job and responsibility to protect my children from harm. And this religion is doing more to harm my family than help. Therefore, I cut them out of my life like a cancer. But to each his own. I have nothing against people that still are Catholic. I just, myself, I'm not going to give them another chance to hurt members of my family. Not on my watch. So we've done our due diligence. I will be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you'll be here with us. And I want to thank each and every one of you kind and generous benefactors, you super chatters, you PayPal pledgers, you Patreon supporters. Please do sign up for our Patreon. It's $1 or more a month, whatever you want. You could set any amount you wish as the monthly pay in. And we thank each and every one of you. Or you could become a YouTube channel member for $5 a month. You get the same extra goodies, but you get some extra YouTube stuff like a member badge. We appreciate each and every one of you, all of you, for your help, kindness, generosity, and support. So be sure to follow me on Twitter. It's at Stephen Cambion for all the latest show news. You can join our Discord. We appreciate all of you. And you can visit our website for all the latest episodes, whether you want to watch the video version of the show or just listen to the audio podcast version of the show. All the latest episodes are available at truthseekershow.com. So that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.
Oh yeah, look at that. Very good. 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 I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. Cock, cock, cock. Wow. 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 Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Wilcock. 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 extraterrestrials, angels, extraterrestrials, angels, extraterrestrials, angels, woo, 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 talk, woo, 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 talk, woo, 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 talk, woo, 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 talk. I'm David Wilcock. All right, here we are. Can you even believe I might actually break YouTube by dressing up this much? I mean, let's see, it's going to tell me to have ads again. We know that. Do you love this?
Say hell no, motherfuckers!
If you decide that you have this particular talent, if you decide you have a particular talent for this stuff, you know, oh, man, I don't know what I just did. I got another one over here. Don't worry about it. See, this is funny.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
It's not every day that I'm going to dress up for you quite this much, so I hope you can really just savor this as if this was some sort of offering of beauty.
You done lost your damn mind.
Oh, I really love this outfit. I just was like, you know what? Why not go all the way? Let's just go all the way. I've got sequined shoes on again. You can see those right here. We'll give you the camera 4 shot on the sequined shoe again, showing my yoga dexterity. Look at that. Everybody's like, oh, wow, David's so dexterous. Well, that's nothing. Or I've been stretching. Yeah, that is real, honest to God, authentic gifting to you. You know, I want to be inclusive. I want to have the opportunity for you to soak in what it feels like to wear these clothes. You can vicariously process your life by just visually appreciating what has happened here. I mean, this is not any type of bad thing at all.
Hey, you want to laugh? This prick last week asked me to christen his kid. Yeah, all right, for $7,000 I charge for christening.
You really are a funny guy!
People, I don't know what that was. It does not get more studly than this. Oh, thank you.
Look at the organization here. Clockwise rim job, counterclockwise rim job. Dick bastard, look at this. Chicks with dicks. You are spiraling out of control here.
Okay, you know, it's not easy to be a trans woman. There's a lot of prejudice in this world. Okay, I gotta get out of here, everybody. But now you've seen Trama, so we just crossed that boundary together. So thank you.
No, that shit can always be recovered. We gotta smash your laptop with a hammer.
All right, there, you happy?
No, the circuits could still be reconstructed if somebody worked at it. We gotta bury it in the harbor. Okay, we'll come back once every 3 months, take a dive, and check on us.
And again, if you'd like the full-blown information, the 10.5-hour video course with 7 camera angles, high production value, that's available now at thedisclosure.com. It's the finest collection of all this sacred science and tying together the Michael message. Because what Michael ended up telling me is that they are coming back. The ETs are coming back. These human ETs I've been talking about, they are definitely coming back.
Does that answer your question?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
What it is, man. I don't mind.
Welcome.